Was this the subdued morning after the night before, or merely the calm before yet another storm for the Prime Minister?
Hi.
After intense speculation last night, there was one resignation, just not the one many in their party wanted.
That's a matter for her, but for me, I felt I couldn't, in all conscience, stand up and deliver the business statement today with a Withdrawal Agreement Bill in it that I couldn't support elements of. So I have no doubts that I made the right decision, and of course it's for the Prime Minister to decide what's right for her and for the country. Thanks very much.
Should the Prime Minister resign, will you run for leadership?
Andrea Leadsom should have been here today.
Mr. Mark Spencer!
And she should have been announcing when the Withdrawal Agreement Bill would be introduced to Parliament. Instead, he announced this.
Mr. Speaker, we will update the House on the publication and introduction of the Withdrawal Agreement Bill on our return from the Whitsun recess.
Just 24 hours after Theresa May said the bill would be published on Friday, Parliament was told they wouldn't see sight of it until early June. Yesterday, the backlash against Theresa May's Withdrawal Agreement Bill was so severe that even previously loyal MPs were in open revolt. Tomorrow she meets with Sir Graham Brady. We're told to either organise a date of departure or the 1922 committee will vote to change rules and force that date of departure. But today, far from being a PM packing her bags, Theresa May seems to have reverted to her mantra of old nothing has changed and organised a mini reshuffle. With Leadsom out, the man on the right, former Treasury Minister Mel Stride, is now in as leader of the House of Commons. But one hole plugged is unlikely to be enough to save this sinking ship, however loyal some cabinet members remain.
Will you be following in the steps of Andrea Leadsom and resigning to strengthen your position? No.
And another claiming she'll still be in post to welcome President Trump on his state visit in 2 weeks' time.
Theresa May will be Prime Minister to welcome him, and rightly so.
He may think so, many others hope not.
The fact that she is still there, having now suffered the resignation of yet another senior member of the cabinet, somebody who's very widely liked in the parliamentary party, and yet she carries on. And I think that it is a feeling of frustration and, in a sense, just disbelief that she seems not to have got the message that actually we have to make a new start.
And while all this unfolds in Westminster, across the rest of the UK, the nation went to vote in the European elections. Mrs May casting her vote here in Berkshire, in Jeremy Corbyn in North London. The Prime Minister has made it through another day in Downing Street. If she can manage 5 more, she'll have outlasted Gordon Brown. 5 days on current form, though, feels a very long time.
Well, as Westminster remains in turmoil, paralysed over leadership and Brexit, Channel 4 News has learned that the government is poised to tell key transport and logistics businesses to order no-deal preparations be stepped up again. Our business editor, Siobhan Kennedy, reports.
Remember the lorries stacked on motorways, airfields readied, ports braced for chaos, extra ferries hired, then fired. As the original March 2018 no-deal deadline loomed, government and industry prepared for the worst, only to be left hanging. With a 6-month extension, the preparations were shelved. But with Theresa May's premiership on the brink and her withdrawal agreement looking dead in the water, a senior logistics source told Channel 4 News that the Department for Transport held a meeting with key industry representatives yesterday and told them to get ready, that a decision to crank up no-deal planning again was imminent. Another senior source who was present inside the meeting told us,
"We were really critical that they'd mothballed no-deal planning. 100% those plans are back on the table."
The meeting took place at the Department for Transport and attendees were made to sign non-disclosure agreements. They were told that confirmation that no-deal planning would once again kick in could be communicated as soon as Friday, once the results of the European elections became clear, or early next week. The thinking that Theresa May's Conservative will receive a hefty drubbing in the polls that will hasten her demise, and a new hardline Brexiteer leader like Boris Johnson would likely replace her and push for a no-deal exit.
We may be in a different period, but the threat, the risk of no deal has never gone away. It subsided for a while as there was a hope that the withdrawal agreement might get taken through. But with the events of the past 48 hours, I can't imagine that there is an importing or exporting business in the country that hasn't ramped up its readiness for a no deal.
In a statement, a government spokesperson said,
"We do not comment on leaks. As a responsible government, we continue to prepare for all scenarios ahead of us leaving the EU, including for no deal."
No deal planning was always billed as contingency in the event Parliament couldn't reach a deal. Now, with political turmoil reaching fever pitch, planning for a hard Brexit no longer contingency, but necessity.